In the past few weeks, we've seen a really exciting pickup in manufacturers and marketing leaders at manufacturers asking about, hey, how do we think about AI agents and how do we think about using those agents to create a better web experience? And so today I wanted to put together it's a pretty simple list of the do's and don'ts of using AI agents on your websites. And this will be mostly useful for marketing leaders, marketing directors at manufacturers. And yeah, we've done about 30 of these projects so far using the 3Kit AI agent to help customers or dealers or pros get to configured products when that process might be a little bit complicated today. So without further ado, here are the do's and don'ts of, if you're a marketing leader, how to think about AI agents. So let's jump into it. The first thing to think about is don't delay. Whether it's with 3Kit or internal or someone else, these AI tools are just too powerful to pass up. And it's just something that you don't want to let pass because there's an extremely important technology happening here. And your audiences, whether it's customers, dealers, pros, are really just probably like you starting to get enmeshed in ChatGPT and Claude and all of these different tools. These tools are becoming answer engines. These things take a little bit of time to get started and for your organization to take on. So whether it's with 3Kit or an internal project to test it out or even someone else, please do start thinking about how AI agents should engage with your products and help making recommendations and drive pipeline. Number two, I would say as a marketer in today's world, I see a lot of marketers make the mistake of just focusing on more and more and more leads, whether that's through Google Ads or social or just SEO. Listen, the game here is not just more leads. The problem when you just focus on leads is you generate bad leads. And when you create bad leads or leads that don't have any context, those gum up the dealer network. You lose trust with those dealers. If you're just sending them a bunch of leads that aren't anywhere near purchase, don't have products in mind, you can run into problems where you lose trust in your pro or dealer network because those leads aren't up to snuff. And you want to have faith in the leads. So really focus on driving and qualifying those leads and making sure they're attached to products. Otherwise, if they're not ready, that's okay too. Give them a great experience, but really focus on the great leads. Do focus on sending the right context. So context here would mean when you send a lead over, that lead should have a lead score. It should have suggested products, suggested budget, suggested timeline. And again, in this day of AI, you can give AI agents instructions to collect that information as a natural part of the engagement. So find natural ways to ask that person on your website via an agent, when is this project happening? Or are you just here to explore? Are you a dealer or a pro? These sorts of things. So you want to be able to create a world where you know the quality of the lead so that then you can have a good conversation with the dealer around, lead score. And if that lead score is good, follow up on that lead really quickly. You can also have expectations around close rate and deal size when you start pushing this information. Do send context downstream as opposed to just saying, hey, I'm creating lots of leads, because you got to have that feedback. This is an important don't, and I'm seeing this in a lot of places where folks are connecting their product catalog to various AI chatbots, and they're there to sort of maybe answer some questions, but they're not hooked into anything. They're not connected to the catalog or business logic or rules or inventory. If you're not connected into that, then you're going to have real problems where that product isn't in stock or isn't makeable or maybe doesn't even exist. And if you don't, I would just really strongly say, don't build anything that can't persist into a quote or an order with your channels. I mean, it's just got to be tied to that business logic, and that's something that's just got to be true. Let's make your AI agent think about it as a sales agent. Look, in this day and age, you have the technology to offer an experience where you are guiding that customer or dealer or pro to a solution, asking follow-up questions, suggesting ideas. Imagine this AI agent is like your best salesperson in a showroom. That person will start with a question or two, but then they're going to start pointing your customer towards, hey, I think you might want to think about this, or you might want to think about that. They're collecting, follow-up. They're getting engagement. And, I think it's just a reminder for everyone, including me as a marketer, people are not on your website for fun. They're here to get to a solution. And don't just answer questions. Don't think about your AI agent as just here to answer questions. They are here to guide, they're here to sell. And that, as everyone knows, selling has its own skills around, inspiration, engagement, qualification, recommendation, positioning, good, better, besting. All of these things you should be thinking about as a sales agent, not just a chatbot on the website that can answer a question and say, hey, I'm here if you need me. People aren't here for fun. Get them to really understand and inspire and engage. There's a lot of tactics that you can build in as you think about this agent. Here's an important one. Do design your AI agent for the non-experts. Start there. Start with the hardest market for a few reasons. One, that's the largest audience, right? It's probably an order of magnitude bigger. The people who don't know a whole lot about your catalog are probably an order of magnitude or maybe two orders of magnitude bigger than the audience who are experts. So solve for them. Those are the people who are driving the majority of your web traffic, most likely, and solve for them because you got to help them get to a proposal that makes sense. You have to educate and guide them. And that is where a huge amount of difference can be made in terms of driving leads. And oh, by the way, if you solve for that audience, then by default, you've solved for the pros and dealers and everyone else who really do know about your product catalog. But guess what? Those folks often, they might not know as much as you think they know. And also they want help too. And so you solve for that audience, you solve for the lowest common denominator, if you will, and you're going to drive a ton more leads. You're going to have that pull through effect. Here's an important one. Do not overload people with options. Look, no one, not even your hardiest expert, product catalog expert, no one cares that you have, 10 million or 10 billion configurations possible. Look, that's old news. That's wonderful for the manufacturing shop floor and the machines that can produce those things. But everyone, including, that dealer or pro, they want to know what is the right product or solution that's right for my zip code, my aesthetic, my needs, my functionalities, and solve for that. And, it's a recipe for failure in today's day and age to be saying, hey, listen, I've got hundreds or thousands of PDPs, or, hey, check out the documentation. I've got hundreds or thousands of pages of PDFs. In this day and age with AI agents, you really can solve for getting to the right answer for that individual person and focus on that, not trying to show them that you have a lot in the bag, so to speak. Don't is an important one. If you think about AI agents, some people are thinking about it as a chatbot on your website. I really encourage you to think about it as a tool for multiple channels. Think about it as an answers engine. If you're able to connect your product catalog, rules, logic, inventory, gross margin, and those sorts of considerations, there's a lot of knowledge. On your website, maybe this tool is for driving leads and you don't want it to give out pricing. That's fine. But hey, you can just take that agent and now put it behind your dealer portal, and that thing can start to create proposals and quotes for you. So start to think about it as a robust solution. Like I said, we've done 25 of these implementations. What we find is if you build the experience for the website, even if it's for a homeowner or your end customer, naturally the dealers, the pros, your sales team, they start engaging because they want an answer engine too. They want to be able to upload some ideas or some aesthetics or some things to get answers. So just have that in mind. Regarding AI agents, manufacturers, don't overbuild. In this current environment with AI agents and your business, it's all happening fast. If it takes a year to get an AI agent to market, that's probably a little bit too slow. I encourage you to think about starting with a single product line, use case, or audience. Prove it drives pipeline, prove it drives continuation down the funnel, and then scale. Take those learnings, add product lines, add use cases, add audiences, and start scaling it out that way. An important don't that is related to my previous point, though, is don't sell just one product line if your products are naturally bundled. For example, here, we work with a manufacturer who makes plumbing fixtures. And look, if you want to sell a shower system, don't just make an AI agent that recommends the shower head. You're in the business of selling complete solutions. Do solve for the solution. So in this case, the shower head, the fixtures, the diverter, the body spray, you should have an AI agent that naturally is pulling together full solutions. Even if that customer only came here looking for a shower head, you should naturally, like any good salesperson, be thinking about the full solution, which is, hey, what is the right diverter to connect in the handheld features, the hand shower, the body spray, these things, sell them together and propose a solution and tell why the solution is better than just a single product. You should be thinking about your AI agent as an employee. Think about them as a business development agent or sales agent or however you would think it. And how well does this person inspire? How well do they engage? How well do they educate? How well do they take someone from just one click to a configured product? How well do they take them from a configured product to a proposal and then to a lead? And then from a lead, what is the conversion rate at the dealer level from dealer lead to quote, from quote to order? And so really think about those metrics. You should think about this as a legitimate employee. And that employee is going to be measured on how well do they move someone through the particular parts of the pipeline where you need help. So it's been a long-winded way of saying, if you're a marketing leader at a manufacturer, there are so many amazing, exciting things happening in the world of AI agents and putting them on your website to drive leads. And I really encourage you to think about the do's and don'ts tactically and using those as an employee to drive these experiences and really start to get the results.